There we are. Let me get the screen set up in the background here really quick. I apologize, I can't set this up ahead of time because YouTube doesn't allow it. So if you're watching on the replay, just fast forward to the first couple of minutes of me setting this up. It asked me to set up a goal here. So I'm going to set it up. And I'm going to adjust my live chat, both on my phone. Hey, Kathy Mowry. And on my chat filter. There we go. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Maxie Doodle. I'm just setting up my screen in the background so I can make sure that I can see everything on both screens. I'm going to try to get them in sync. Okay, 9 people here. Kathy X50 running riot. Let's give it just a few moments. Hey, Connie. Read close. I'm in LA, but my green screen is Manhattan, New York. New York, New York, because this story is coming out of New York. This case is just, it's crazy now. I don't even know what day it is. Is it day 143? Somebody let me know. I didn't figure that before the show because it's not in my thumbnail or in my title. Well, people are coming in pretty quick. I always say this, but I really mean it today. Let's keep it short today. I just want to get straight to the point as soon as we get, a few more people in the room here. Oh, I need to turn off my notifications. I always know that there's something I'm going to forget. At least I remembered my mics today. I forgot to charge the iPad, and the iPad is part of this today, so I've got the ring light and the iPad all into the same charger, which means no charge for the phone right now. Thank you for the thumbs up. Yeah, this is just, hopefully you guys that are watching this have seen the video from yesterday. If you haven't, you can go rewatch that after you watch this. Hey, Kathy Doherty. Well, we have all 3 Kathys in today. It's absolutely fine, Maxie, to be on the replay crew. No problem. Yeah, I'm still dealing with that issue with YouTube. Now they want me to wait 72 hours as far as being able to see the video. But apparently it is still up. The one that had like the 20,000 views in like a couple of hours live, but they're still having tech issues. I'm still extremely frustrated. And I've got half of my money back on the sticker orders that I didn't place. I got half so far. Still working on that. Did get my refund for my double charge for one of my PI vendors' websites. So I got that handled. Got half the sticker money back, even though I have no stickers. I'm still waiting for my stickers from another company. They're taking a very long time to get here, but I will let you guys know when I get those. And I'll probably put them on the eBay store and the whatnot store. Hey, Colleen. How you doing today? Okay, I got 26 people in the room, so we're just going to start this and hopefully make it quick. I'm April Davis, PI. I'm a licensed private investigator in Los Angeles, California, and I have been reporting on the Nancy Guthrie case. I think today is number 143, but don't hold me to that because I didn't add it up on the calculator before I started. Yesterday was a huge, huge, I wouldn't say breakthrough, but report that came out. The report about the second ransom note indicating that Miss Nancy had passed, that she was accidentally unalived. I have a very hard time believing all of this. I mean, I do believe that she is passed, and I believe she passed quickly, considering her age, her health, lack of medication, the trauma, etc. But how did this report just suddenly just hit all the mainstream news outlets yesterday? There's nothing that confirms where any of that came from. And remember, Harvey Levin of TMZ, he has copies of those original 2 reports. And those are the ones that the FBI told the family that they think they're credible because the guy knew something about the Apple Watch and the broken strobe light that only the kidnappers or one of the perps involved would know. They both came from the same address. But I don't think either one of those reports, from what we know publicly, ever stated that she died. Muskie says the CIA leaked it. I doubt it because they just handle international type of things. And we have no proof that this case has gone international yet. But hey, everything's a possibility. It's bothered me. And I mentioned that yesterday. Like, I am reporting to you what is being reported in the media. And I don't mean like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or another YouTuber. I'm talking the mainstream media. I still want to see Brian Enton's report. I haven't seen that one yet. But I think this kind of pushed the family, meaning the Guthrie family, into a corner. And Savannah felt the need on the Today Show, where she was very emotional today. It almost makes me want to cry right now. Yeah, there's a lot of paper around me, so of course my face is itching. Hello from Turkey. Yeah, I don't believe the CIA leaked it. I don't know who leaked it. And there's no indication to me that those words were spoken, that she was accidentally unalived. But yet these are people who intended to take her, did take her, and maybe even intended to kill her. And now there was an accident. That's hard to believe. And that she's buried in nature, something like that. Um, I'm still having a hard time with that story. So I have to take somebody out. Boy, that gets me not trying to hide their messages. Why does that always happen on such a small screen? Put user in timeout. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you for the emojis, Kathy. That's for the memberships or for the members. So if you want to become a member, click the membership tab. So let me get to this. I'm not going to show it because I'm not going to get nailed for reused content, even though I know half the internet is reposting this. Hello, Barbara. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, play the commercials privately. I can't play it on the screen or you'll hear me reverbing because my show is on the big screen. So that's why I've got the iPad and the charger out. And I am going to actually remove this mic from the top of my hat. So I'm going to have to be quiet for a moment. And I'm going to put it over to TMZ as soon as I can hopefully get this to play. So everybody just give a moment for the commercials to go through. And of course, there's always the pop-ups that interfere. TMZ always has their volume off. Just hold on for the commercials. Find your fun again. Carter. They have to make money too. The bravery and courage with which you have done this job every day since that happened, nothing short of remarkable. Wow. Nothing short of remarkable. I love you guys and I love this place. And this is unusual and unprecedented to say the least to be sitting here. But, I don't have any comment on the story and I'm not involved in our coverage. But I can't pretend I'm not here. And so since I am, I wanted to just take the opportunity to ask people to beg people to come forward. Somebody knows something. And this is a news story today that is on your radar, but this is the life that my sister lives, that I live, that my brother lives, that our extended families live, that our children live every day. And we are in agony. And we cannot be at peace no matter how much I try to come out here every day and smile and find that joy. And I will. I promise I will. This is a moment to tell you that we need your help. We're begging for your help. And I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And so please, if you're watching, yes, no matter how small, the reward is there. You can tell us. It can be anonymous. Please do the right thing for us, for our family, for our children. And we love our mom and we'll never stop looking for her, ever. To your point,
If you have any information, if you're watching, if you're listening, if you have any information at all that could help investigators and could help this family find just a modicum of peace, the phone number is right there on your screen. 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Well, there you have it. Now, the sad part of that is that if you do know something, the only thing you can do is call 1-800-CALL-FBI. And remember, I've already called them twice and written a letter. Nothing. Nada. Ghosted. If you don't know where the body is, they don't want to talk to you. So that's a problem in this case. Let me just say hello to a few people. Hey, Peggy. Barbara, thank you for coming. Danielle, thank you. It is sad. It just makes me want to cry right now. Who is this? Ginocular? Welcome in. Where are you coming in from? Miss Pittsburgh, welcome in. Stax, welcome back. Okay, this breaks my heart. But did you hear those words? And this was live. This was not recorded. You know, this was live. Not recorded live, but live. Now, by the time we saw it in California, yeah, it was recorded live. But they broadcast this show live from Manhattan, Monday through Friday, the Today Show. And she did not confirm or deny that statement that the second ransom allegedly contained information that she was accidentally unalived and she had been buried in nature. She also sounds, if you heard it in her voice when she mentioned her sister, her family, sounds to me like Savannah is still believing that family is not involved. She still seems very supportive of everybody in the family. And Sheriff Nanos did publicly state that they are clear, but nobody's been arrested in this case yet. We don't even know if they currently have a viable suspect. In my opinion, nobody is clear. But now this case hedges on a rootless single hair strand, and I'm getting less and less impressed with the FBI every day. Remember, I'm a Hollywood PI. There's several cases I've worked in my career where the LAPD and the FBI combined could do absolutely nothing. I believe the current head was appointed by our current administration. Maybe that's an issue. I don't know enough about him to say that he's doing his job or he's not doing his job. I know he was put in a very bad position to be brought into this case on day 5, and the evidence had already been compromised. But, you know, the condition that their call center is in and the people that they have answering those phones who are not FBI agents, they're just phone reps. They're deplorable. You would think that I would at least get a confirmation that they received my letter. Nothing. So now, since Savannah made her statement today, and I can't play it because it's like 7 minutes long and I've already played enough of somebody else's content already. Harvey Levin made a second statement. And he said, I want to try to clear up the confusion. Well, after I heard his 7-minute statement, which I probably should listen to again later this evening, maybe I was still like foggy because I just woke up. Now I'm more confused. We have the first set of ransoms that the FBI think are legit. They're from the same email address. They wanted the Bitcoin. Nobody except the FBI apparently seeded it. The rumor was 300. Apparently, it's more like I'm hearing $150 plus dollars. It was a very small amount. They were hoping somebody would bite, transfer that money into their Bitcoin account, or claim that money off that Bitcoin address, which they did not. Then there's, the text ransoms that also were done by text and by phone from Derek Colella, who has his federal trial on the 2nd. It's true that he did supposedly confess to the FBI when they arrested him at his house in LA County. Now, supposedly he's going to change his plea on that. Just saying. But these third sets of ransoms, that's where this case gets interesting. And Harvey kept saying, okay, we're not going to deal with this guy anymore. We're not going to talk about it anymore. But yet he kept talking about it. Every time he would say, I'm not going to talk about it anymore, he would bring it up again. Apparently there's a dozen of those notes or more. And that's when they said, be prepared to go international. And they didn't come from the same email address as the first two ransom notes that came from the same address. But these next dozen letters or so did come from one email address, just different from the first set of ransom notes. We call him the one Bitcoin guy. First he wanted 50 grand, then he wanted a Bitcoin, and then I don't remember what order. And then he said, okay, I'll take a half now and I'll give you the other half later, once she has been found. Apparently there's a dozen letters. And he did say in those letters, well, we're assuming it's a he, we don't know for sure, that time is of the essence. Then the letters change. Time is no longer of the essence. And to Harvey, and to me, that was kind of a big tip that maybe this person either is involved or knows who is involved. Because why would you say, like, hey, time is of the essence, and you better give us our money now or else? But then if something had happened and she actually did pass, which I think she passed from the very beginning of this, that the letters would then change and they would admit that time is no longer of the essence and that they can't show proof of life because she's probably DEAD. And that writer claimed that he saw her in Mexico, but I can't recall if he saw her living or deceased. I don't take it necessarily when he said be prepared to go international that meant Mexico. It could, but so far all the Mexico leads seem to lead nowhere. Maxi Doodle, April, with Kalela's plea deal and changed to guilty, do you think he confessed some information? That's the reason why this note was dropped today. I do not know. He sent the text ransoms and he made the phone call to one of their private cells. Kelser says Mexico or Italy. Possible. And there's some other countries that I have in mind as well. Now, does that mean be prepared to go international to recover Nancy, or be prepared to go international to arrest someone or get information, to talk to a witness? This is very complex still. I still believe in my original theories: money and revenge, Savannah factor, or somebody close to her, or a combination of the two. That's the only possibility. But here's something that I've just learned over the last couple days. And maybe because Harvey hadn't talked about it before, or this case has just gone on for so long that I lost track, but I just heard this, that he started to think, we're not getting anywhere here. Nobody's getting anywhere. The police, the FBI, the family. He apparently offered to the FBI, who he considered to have a good relationship with, that what if he asked permission before taking any action, what if we, as TMZ, would be willing to pay the one Bitcoin guy? Mm, I don't know, Elijah. I don't remember, but welcome back. George Roberts, thanks for coming in. But just keep it clean, Elijah. We've had some issues in the past, and then you've become a good boy, but there's still a little doubt in my mind. So, yeah, today's not the day for anybody to, have the train, push the train off the track for me on this video. Now Harvey is claiming that since he made that offer, that maybe TMZ paid this one Bitcoin or this half a Bitcoin. You know what, Elijah? I'm not going to argue with you anymore. What is wrong with you? Don't come back. Okay, I'm sorry. You're gone, Elijah. I may have to block that guy. Hollylocks, I'm becoming more convinced that the first 2 or 3 ransom notes were actually written by the abductor. New info today that the first note gave detailed description of Nancy's pajamas. I hadn't heard that, but that's possible. Now, these third sets of ransoms where, Harvey said, well, we've talked about it enough and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Then he'd go, I just received another ransom. but we're not going to talk about it anymore. And then he'd be like, hey, I just received another note. And that's ransom person number 3, because the first 2 came from the same address and it mentioned the same Bitcoin address. Then there's text ransom guy. We know who that is and who made the call to Annie or Tommaso. I've heard it was Annie. That's Derek Colella, whose trial will start soon. But now there's these third sets of ransoms where Harvey was like, come on, if you really know, why don't you just call the police or the FBI? There's $1.2 million on the table. Why are you asking for, 1 Bitcoin or 50,000 or half a Bitcoin when there's 1.2 million on the table? And the guy kind of implied, if it is a guy, that he may have something on his record, like a burglary from 11 years ago, and that he has a family. And, that if this gets out, that, he's going to provide information that, that he's going to basically rat the kidnappers out, that, they may seek revenge against him. But he had to have known that if he was going to write an organization like TMZ, that it was going to be made public to the whole world. And then the perps would know that, hey, there's somebody who's dropping a dime on us. So I don't necessarily believe him when he was like, well, I'm not involved. And oh, by the way, I haven't lived in the United States since 2019, which is kind of similar, by the way. I know it's coincidental, but it's kind of similar to what Zach or Z-Man said, because he was throwing out that number 2019. And then the third set of ransom notes was throwing out, oh, I haven't lived in the US for 6 years. And they kept saying that, but I haven't been there in 6 years. I haven't been there in 6 years. While he's off in the background, okay, separate from ransom writer, saying, hey, but I haven't lived there since 2019. And then everything got scrubbed off the internet. Well, not everything. It was just like, that's kind of similar. That one guy is saying, I haven't lived there since 2019, and another is saying, I haven't been there in 6 years, but and I didn't do it, and I'm not involved, but I know who did, and you know I saw something in Mexico, and I can give you information, but yet they're refusing to call the FBI or the Pima County sheriffs and claim that $1.2 million reward, which Savannah has reminded everybody today on live television that is still on the table. Oh, so now he's claiming, Harvey, let's get back to Harvey here. He's claiming that since he offered, he didn't pay anything, but he suggested to the FBI, what do you think if we were to pay Bitcoin guy, not first Bitcoin guy that wanted 4 million and then 6 million, but just the one Bitcoin guy. And from that point on, the FBI slammed the door on Harvey Levin. Wow, 90 people watching and only 22 thumbs up. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? We're up to 108. Wow. That's when the FBI slammed the door on him. Now, that would make sense, and I'll get to all your comments in a moment. That would make sense if, let's say, when he offered to do that the FBI is very, very close. Oh, thank you, Mostly Dolls Helicopters, for the thumbs up. First jewel of the day. It would make sense that they would have just shut him out and not responded to that if they were like getting ready to make a move. But several weeks at least, maybe even a month has passed since that happened. And they could have just made a courtesy call or sent a letter or an email as a courtesy saying, please, we don't want you to do that because, this is an active criminal investigation and that could compromise the security of our case or our investigation. They could have just said something like that and he would have been like, oh, okay, I won't do that. I'll never mention it again. But they've slammed the door on him. He's even called them today and supposedly yesterday. They won't even take his calls. And he hasn't paid anything, but he was just saying, well, perhaps maybe we could offer some of the money. Because remember, Savannah, she wanted to put up that $1 million right away, and she was talked out of that. By the time she did, nobody was coming forward. That's a lot of money on the table for no one to come forward. And, Harvey was like, hey, man, if you really know something, why don't you call 1-800 FBI 1-800-CALL FBI or the Pima County Sheriffs, or there was some other hotline that's out there where you can remain anonymous. Even Savannah has reminded everybody you can remain anonymous. But nobody wanted to do that. They just want this. Oh, but I'll take a. First, I want one. Oh, well, first I want 50 grand. Then I'll take a Bitcoin. Then I'll take a half a Bitcoin. But no, I don't. I'm not going to call and get the reward. That person knows more than what they're saying. Uh, Let me just catch up on the chat for a moment. Hey, Brew. Brew. Sue Brock Schmidt. Uh, can't they get new people on the case? I can't answer that question. Let's see. Hey, Texas Diane. Welcome in, my dear. Mostly Dallas Helicopters. I acknowledge your thumbs up. And thanks for putting the emojis out there, all you members. I appreciate that. And Kathy Doherty, I don't know why you're not able to use the emojis. And who's talking DJT? Okay, thanks for alerting me of that, because you're going into a timeout. Not the person who alerted me, but the person who is talking DJT. We're not going to do that today. I'm just not in the mood to do that today. I like your statement, Holly. I don't know about the pajamas, but that's very possible. Kathy says, be right back. No problem. Harvey is a trip, isn't he? I've actually was at a meeting with him once with Jane Velez Mitchell, but there were so many people there that I didn't have a chance to go over and there's another one. The more people we bring in, the more trolls we're gonna have. Mostly Dallas Helicopters coming in. Let me get my hype horn. It's way in the back of my desk. The first super chat of the day, $2 Canadian. Thank you so much. Galloping Grandma, haven't seen you before. Where are you coming in from, Grandma? Hello. Anakin, haven't seen you in a while. Let's see. Jane Rice says hi. Hello, Jane. Welcome in, my friend. Yeah, thank you to all the people that are the members, whether you were a paid member or you were gifted a member, for putting the emojis. Those are the custom emojis up in the chat. MVUMV, welcome back. This was a free gift, Anakin, this hat. I like to change it up. Here comes another one. There we go. Yeah, if you guys see any trolls come in, don't even acknowledge them. I'll just, if I see them, I take them out, and if I don't worry about it. But so Harvey, this is interesting that Harvey Levin from TMZ has offered to pay the one Bitcoin guy, and he has for quite some time apparently, but he didn't do it because he wanted to run it by the FBI first, and they ghosted him and slammed the door. They're not returning emails or phone calls. Not if you're not a mod. And I don't have any mods today, Dawn. Maybe you can from your channel, or your username, but I'm the only one that can block them on the chat here. You got thrown out. How'd that happen? We didn't throw you out, Kathy Doherty. Kelsers. That's exactly what crossed my mind. That the FBI must know more than they're leading on. Yeah, because not even a phone call or an email saying, we respectively decline. Can I speak today? We respectively, I'm not even going to say it. We respectfully, there we go, decline your offer. And due to the, the security of the investigation, or they didn't say anything. They've slammed the door. Holly Locke says, I think they know a lot more. I think so too. And when I made that reference earlier, when I was telling you the latest, and I made that reference to Z-Man, I'm not saying that he wrote those notes at all. Some guy sitting in Amman, Jordan. I'm not saying that. But it was a little coincidental that, he's just blown up all of social media going, I haven't even lived in the United States since 2019. And then this guy that was only supposed to write once or twice, but wrote like a dozen times, is like, I haven't lived there in 6 years. It's like there's two people that are involved in this, the many, many characters, and I mean everybody, from the ransom writers, all the characters to the suspect list, that are basically saying, well, it can't be me. I'm not involved because of this, this, and this. Just seems kind of similar to me. If you know, call the police, call the FBI, call the sheriff's department, call Crime Stoppers, get that 1.2 million. If I knew who did this and I knew where her body was, I would have already called by now. I have certain suspects in mind. I think I got at least two people figured out. I think there was probably at least three at the house. Now, were they just working in a group themselves, or were they working for a ringmaster? A puppet master, the leader, the queen bee, as I used to say. These are the worker bees. Don't know that yet because we don't know the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. Yeah, we wouldn't have timed you out, Holly. It must have been a glitch. Let me tell you, it's glitching so bad that last week, Holly, one of my super chats just deleted. The video that I did Sunday afternoon that had literally 8,000 people come in, not all at the same time, and then within an hour or two of going off the air was at 20,000 views. I still can't see it on the back end, and YouTube can't fix it. Now, if they were going to screw me and there was going to be a glitch, this was the worst possible time for that glitch to happen. So you guys, if you haven't seen that video, click the live tab and go to it. It's got a picture of a guy that says, is this like the getaway driver or something? That's a very important video to watch. Harvey and Charles made a YouTube video. So there are YouTube glitches, everybody. Let's see. Okay, Maxi Doodle. Sorry I missed that. For a few weeks, I believe they have a name. They have names or a name. It's going to be big, and they're getting as much evidence as possible before the arrest. I do think that. I'm still thinking positively. So I don't know. My only guess is that they're closing out or they're ghosting Harvey Levin, not because they have a bad relationship with him, because they didn't. They already have an established relationship. But they don't want to tip their hand because maybe something's getting ready to go down. But I still do think that they are waiting for that single rootless hair. And if that's all we've got to go on, then we are in trouble. Hey, no problem, Jay. Welcome back. Yeah, who's Charles? I saw your comment. Kay in New Jersey. Harvey, as in Harvey Levin, and Charles made a new YouTube video. Don't know who Charles is. Dawn says, yeah, YouTube has been glitchy on a lot of channels. Some are having to start over their streams. Yeah, and you know what? Two of my streams, including one that was done since, it must have been the Monday stream. Yeah, it was yesterday because I had the problem on Sunday with that one, and it's my highest viewed stream ever, live stream. The next one, it wouldn't turn on yesterday, and I had to start over again, and then it turned off my monetization. And that's happened twice, that my monetization got turned off before the video began. Like, what? Like, YouTube, I'm trying to help you make money too here. I I gotta take somebody out. Jeez. Oh, Kelsers. Yes, that's what I think as well. They don't want to spill the beans to the public, so they close the door on TMZ. That's what I think. I don't know what Harvey thinks, but he looks a little upset about it. Like I thought we were friends. uh, hey Maggie. No, Anthony. See you in 24 hours. Yeah, one of the regulars. Good evening, B Miss Five. How are you doing, my friend? So yeah, basically everything that I said yesterday, that this has been reported in the mainstream media about the alleged accidental unaliving and the alleged burial in nature. I can't confirm the original source of that. And today, Savannah Guthrie on live TV read a statement. I don't know if it was even a written statement or she just spoke from the heart. She's not confirming or denying. And she said that. She's not confirming or denying. And I brought that point up yesterday. Even, CNN, all the news agencies, everybody's running with that story. And I reported it. But I did say, if you rewatch yesterday's video, that I can't confirm where they're getting that. Now, I do need to watch Harvey Levin's video from today where he's like, let's try to clear up some of the confusion because I must have saw that too early in the day and I was like, okay, now I'm more confused. Um, I know, VMS, my heart was broken too. Got 84 people in the room and only 38 thumbs up. Can you guys just go give this video a thumbs up? And let me see where the subscriber count is. We are getting closer to the 3,500 mark. Let's see where we're at. I can't see around my lens. 3487. We're at 3487. So 13 more subs and I'll hit 3,500. And then we can start thinking about the march towards 4,000. So, let's climb one little hill at a time before we, go to the top of the mountain. Uh, Dylan says, I wish they'd get the person who did this. I'll be shocked if it isn't my hunch of who it might be. Could be a whole different person. That's how I feel about not only the case, but that's how I also feel about my calls and my letter to the FBI about Front Porch Guy. Holly Locks, it was so sad hearing and seeing Savannah today, such suffering. Yeah, and remember, the Pima County sheriffs, they've either cut her off or she's cut them off, most likely. Hey, handsome man. Savannah would like to contact the ransom guy to offer money for details. Where is Nancy's body? She's feeling guilty not doing something earlier with that Bitcoin back then. That's very possible. Of course, we'll have a party if we hit 4,000. Well, that could happen today. Oh no, I was thinking 3,500. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to have a party today, and unless like 600 people came in, we'd have to have it another day. But yeah, I would not be surprised to see Tommaso in some cuffs. Nothing would surprise me because I don't trust anybody in this circus. Well, except for Savannah. Cozy Sunflower Mom. I could not watch the video of Savannah because I started to cry. I have a lot of empathy for others. Yeah, me too. Uh, I don't trust either, April, says Dawn. Yeah. Uh, I really want to see the financials. And nobody ever reported this except for me about that second mortgage in 2017. And remember, I have not done a title search, nor have I asked my realtor to do a title search because I'm not investigating this case. I'm reporting on this case. Hi, Rose Margaret. But remember that was just a possible red flag to me, but not necessarily because it is $1 million home and there is a lot of maintenance. And, maybe that was the reason for it. But I would be looking at all the finances. They need good forensic accountants at the FBI. No, Kelsers, the FBI has never got back to me, but I didn't expect that they would. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked. And maybe the person that I named as front porch guy, maybe they've already ruled that person out. Although I do think that person is involved in this somehow, whether they're front porch guy or not. Because some days I'm 99.9% sure, and then other days I'm like, well, I don't know anymore. And then something happens, and I'm like, yeah, I knew it. I knew I have it right. Um, there's just this should have been solved within the first 2 weeks, and it wasn't. And Nanos, he screwed this case so bad. The FBI should have been allowed in sooner. The crime scene should have never been traipsed over. Should have been secure. They knew as soon as the deputies got there, they knew that something was suspicious, and it was more than just a missing senior. That's why they called the homicide detectives. Why didn't they keep that scene secure? Uh, Bemis, I'm wondering why now, or why just now they allowed Savannah to talk on the air about her mom. I don't think she asked anybody for permission. I think because of the story that dropped yesterday about the accidental unaliving that she was forced to make a statement, basically saying, I have no comment. Handsome man, I like Nancy's home so much. Me too, but not the location anymore. Me too. They need street lights. They can't have it due to wildlife migration. I understand that because it's in the middle of the desert. Policing security cameras on street lights. Yeah, you can't do it in a neighborhood like that. It would severely impact the wildlife. Um, Holly likes. Do you know what the FBI said to TMZ when they got back to them today? Apparently, they haven't got back to them at all, unless something has happened since I just went on the air. April, when people were saying going international, were they referring to ZJ? I have no clue. A lot of people took it as Mexico, especially since someone in one of those notes claimed to have seen her in Mexico, but I have no clue. Wonder if the show Nanos is involved is going to use some of this case coverage. I have never seen that show. Um, well, decent human being, small Pip or Pippi, which obviously you are not. So goodbye. Um, it's pretty dark out there. It's pitch dark. We had a friend that came in here to the channel who lives in the neighborhood. Says it's pitch black. You can't see, a few feet in front of you. No problem, Cappy. I hate to say this, but my inkling it will be the wildlife that leaves the law to Nancy. Possible. Uh, yeah, don't respond, handsome man, to small Pippi. We don't need people like that on our show. Um, they need to migrate. It would interfere with um the whole ecosystem. And speaking of that, here, if you're watching from the United States, we have July 4th coming. And this was a big controversy last year, but it's even bigger this year. They're going to have another fireworks show up at Big Bear Lake. And we still have two baby eaglets in the nest that are very close to flying, but haven't taken flight yet. And it could be deadly. It could absolutely be deadly to have that fireworks show. Um, they need to start banning those shows, at least in certain areas. Another knucklehead. Gonna have to make this short today with all the knuckleheads. Um, Do I remember when the media kept changing who was the last person to see her? No. I've always heard that it was her family, as in Annie and Tommaso. And then specifically, it later became that it was Tommaso because he was the one who allegedly drove her home. Now, besides the family, the last person outside the family to see her was the female Uber driver who took her to her daughter's house on January 31st for dinner and game night. Oh, you lost the sound? Did anybody else lose the sound, or was it just Jay? Kathy, can you hear us? You hear me? Okay, thanks, Rose Margaret. Kelsers, yes, I heard it was Annie and Tommaso. That's what I heard. Then it was just Tommaso. Sound is good, says Jane. Maxie Doodle says, I can hear you. Kathy X50, you can hear me. Thank you. Hey, Nathan, welcome in. Sound is good. Okay. Jay, you might want to come out and come back in. Not that you can hear me if you can't hear me. I'm sorry. Oh, they did interview the Uber driver stacks, and it was a female. Oh, thank you for the makeup brush, mostly dolls helicopters, coming in with the jewels today. Kathy Doherty can hear me. Okay. Yeah, thanks for letting me know because there's so many issues. Last week, one of my shows, the signal died, and I didn't know, and all the viewers started dropping out. And then I saw that dreaded spinning circle on the screen saying reconnecting, and I was like, huh? And by then, everybody was, just about gone. I wonder how the brother is feeling. Oh, do you mean Cameron? Cameron Guthrie? And the other day I was trying to say Vermont, and I said New Hampshire. And I put that in the video. If you always go to the playback, look at the comments. I was like, "Oops, I said New Hampshire. I meant Vermont." He lives in Vermont. I'm still puzzled on how the family left her in the house by herself. At that age, that's a tough one. I think it was her decision, but still. Wonder why Anne didn't go with Tommaso to take Nancy home that night. Well, she does. They do have a young child. Maybe the child was in bed. To me, Cameron looked very upset and mad at the same time. I thought he was very stoic, being a military guy. We all care. That's why everybody is here. I've seen that person before. It's funny how they come back. Thank you for the clicks, though. Appreciate it. Every view, every click, every jewel, every super chat, even the super thanks that are available after the videos or on the mainstream or the main channel, like the long form videos. You know, it all helps. There will always be more questions than answers, says Nicola. You will never know what happened to her. I don't think she was alive very long when they took her. I hope she rests in heavenly peace. Yeah, I think she did pass very soon. We don't know anything about a will. Mary says, I want to know why Cameron isn't included in the will. That is not public information. Cameron probably wants to get his hands on the perp in the worst ways. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Kathy, for the custom baseball and little America happy face emoji. I just put that one up for 4th of July because, I had a whole set of new emojis ready to go when I finally was able to put them up, and then they wouldn't load because they weren't sized. They weren't 1-to-1 ratio, and it was just like, oh, good God. So I had to choose a bunch of other ones, and it wasn't easy for me. Hollylocks, when you have a parent in their 80s of sound mind, you cannot make them move out of their own house. Exactly. It's their choice, and you can't force them if they want to stay. True. And I think that was probably the case. I am so high in the air because that is a green screen. That is New York, because we're talking about Savannah Guthrie's statement today. In fact, let me go back in case you guys are just getting here.
Bravery and courage with which you had done this job every day since that happened. Nothing short of remarkable. Well, nothing short of remarkable. I love you guys and I love this place. And this is unusual and unprecedented, to say the least, to be sitting here. But, I don't have any comment on the story, and I'm not involved in our coverage. But I can't pretend I'm not here. And so since I am, I wanted to just take the opportunity to ask people, to beg people to come forward. Somebody knows something. And this is a news story today that is on your radar, but this is the life that my sister lives, that I live, that my brother lives, that our extended families live, that our children live every day. And we are in agony. And we cannot be at peace. So no matter how much I try to come out here every day and smile and find that joy, and I will, I promise I will. This is a moment to tell you that we need your help. We're begging for your help. And I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And so please, if you're watching, yes, no matter how small, the reward is there. You can tell us. It can be anonymous. Please do the right thing for us, for our family, for our children. And we love our mom, and we'll never stop looking for her, never. To your point, if you have any information, if you're watching, if you're listening, if you have any information at all that could help investigators and could help this family find just a modicum of peace, the phone number is right there on your screen. 1-800-CALL-FBI.
That's hard. I'm glad I rewatched that because I just noticed something. There was Savannah and 4 other people around her. Carson Daly, Jenna Bush Hager, what's the weatherman's name? He's in my video with my friend Kelsa Kinsley, in my Rest in Peace playlist. And then the other guy, the African American, the co-host. I can't think of his name either. Is it Craig? I noticed that Savannah and Jenna, who was allegedly her best friend, and Carson, who she's also close with him and his wife and their children, all 3 of them were wearing black today. Al Roker, thank you, Kelsers. 3 out of the 5 people sitting there were dressed in all black. Now, Savannah's was highlighted by some of her jewelry because she likes to wear a lot of nice jewelry. I find that interesting that out of the 5 people that were sitting at that news desk this morning, 3 out of the 5 were wearing all black, like they were attending a funeral. The day after the announcement came out that her mother had died, but yet she didn't confirm or deny that information. I just noticed that. And the other 2 that weren't wearing black were wearing very, very dark colored suits. Al Roker and the other guy, whose name I can't, it's Craig. Okay. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. It is sad and it is hard for me to watch. And, I can't do this every day for eternity if she's. Hey, Pixie Dust, welcome in. Haven't seen you before. I just wanted to play for some of the new people that may have come in since the beginning of the video. Yeah, they were all dressed like they were going to a funeral. All of them. All black attire. Yeah, you noticed it too. I just saw it now, Nathan. I really like Al as a weatherman. He's a jolly man. He is. I love him. I haven't heard anything. Kimberly, any comments from Mayor Regina Romero of Tucson on the Nanos progress? I haven't heard a word. Everything is speculation. As Nanos would say, it's speculative. You mean the report from yesterday? Yeah, I said it in my video. Rewatch that video. It's being reported on mainstream news, and therefore I have to come on the air today and report it to you, even though I didn't really want to because I wasn't feeling well and I was sleep deprived and I was mad at YouTube. And I'm still mad at YouTube today, although I did get some sleep last night, but I still just feel kind of off. But, that's just me. That's my health. Um, do you think they know where she may be? You know what? I don't think so. I really don't. Hey, Kimberly, maybe because of finality about Nancy's unaliving. But yet, Savannah wouldn't publicly confirm it or deny it. But that kind of speaks volumes, doesn't it? That she was wearing black and Jenna Bush, Hager, was wearing all black, and her friend Carson Daly, who she could talk to privately, were wearing black. It would be too soon, in my opinion, KMG. KMG asked, has she been declared dead? As far as I know, no. Are they getting ready to declare her dead? I don't know. I don't know anything about that Hubble one. I would think it's a little early, although I have seen it happen occasionally in cases, even ones that I've worked. Jay, that's a very good statement. That's a very good statement. I think she's in the desert within 5 miles from her house. That's very possible. It's very possible. And I am not excluding at this time, not knowing who is or isn't involved, that she may not, we can't exclude that she's not in her own neighborhood. But see, that's why I think they should have searched for her for more than, 24 to 48 hours. Like you put the net close and then you spread it further out. KVOA did a news story on Nancy this morning. Ugh. If I lived in Tucson, I wouldn't watch KVOA. I think she's in Pima Canyon. Oh, I don't know where that is. I don't live in Arizona. Where is that? Trees all around the neighborhood. Remember, there was a few houses that were under construction or had construction crews, and the house at the end of the cul-de-sac, which is literally the house across the street. Remember, they were laying concrete that same week around the pool or for a pool, something like that. God forbid. God forbid she's, buried in the backyard at the house across the street. I mean, I hope not. Oh, Charles. Oh, okay. I didn't know his name was Charles. Jewel Giancana says Charles is the black guy that reports with Harvey Levin. Oh, the guy with the braids. Okay, I didn't know that. Her pacemaker unsynced, MView. Now, it would still be working. So let me rephrase that. Her pacemaker unsynced with her devices, but it wouldn't have just stopped working. And remember, several weeks into this, after they'd had the sniffer choppers around the neighborhood, somebody pinpointed a signal that could possibly be a pacemaker that was out in the desert, and they sent the sniffer chopper back, but they never sent boots on the ground, and they had a GPS location of a weird signal out in the desert. But it was, I think within the Tucson area, and they never followed up on that. And they also went to a neighbor's house and knocked on the door and said, oh, by the way, does anybody here have a pacemaker? So they were like checking locally for any types of signals like that. The reason I believe that, April, every mile is another mile of risk of getting caught. Pima Canyon is right behind her house. Oh, okay. So that's in Tucson. I know, wouldn't it be, Jay? Underneath the concrete? because there was just a lot of sketch stuff that was apparently going on at that house, and I mean, it is something to look into. And the police did go to that house at one point. Yeah, it's the house across the street, and I talked about that in several videos, like who owned it and who sold it to their daughter, and, that they don't live in town, and that they've had the crews coming back and forth from Mexico. This is just I don't know, I'm just kind of in a weird mood today because I'm upset for Savannah. I mean, upset for everybody involved, but poor Savannah. And I still find her sister to be a very odd duck. That's a friendly way of putting it. But I'm not saying that her sister or her brother-in-law are involved or that they are or they aren't because I don't know. Let me hydrate for a moment. I'm sorry. Like I'm not going to point the finger at them or anybody except for my phone calls to the FBI hotline. Call 1-800 FBI or 1-800 call FBI. Have I become dyslexic since I started this show? I swear to God, something is not right. Oh, it's very dry in LA. I'm surprised we're not on fire. It's so dry. And we'll have all those illegal fireworks coming, you know, for the 4th, and always a scary time. The accidental death claim makes sense if it was a random home invasion. Also, Indian reservations have their own sheriffs. Um, Hobble one, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but there was no way this was a random home invasion. This was a very targeted, very planned crime. And yes, they do. And that's also a possibility. We talked about that in another video about the possibility of an Indian reservation being involved, but um, I don't think so. I mean, it could be. Remember, I don't have any more information than every single one of you here watching me right now has. I have the investigative experience, but I'm not investigating this case. Somebody wrote me the other day on a comment like, "Well, if it was your case, what would you do?" Like, well, we've talked about that several times. I would handle it like any other case. I'd start interviewing people. I'd look at everything, including the accounting of all the people involved in that family. I would see if Savannah had any active threats. And once, I had my interviews done and all of my boxes checked, I would, you know, s- start my surveillance operation. Thank you, Stax. Oh, you asked me that in the comments. Oh, it was you. Okay. Yeah, we've talked about it several times before, but you might be new here. So, yeah, that one's for you. I would start it like any other case. And since we don't have a body or a death certificate or an autopsy report, if we already knew that she was dead and there was an autopsy report, I would start with that first. But we don't have that yet. So, I would interview the family, the people closest to her, the church lady, um, the neighbors, the people that work for her in the house, doctors, any caregivers, including our own family. I'd want a lot of financial information about wills, living trusts, property, loans, bank accounts, the financial viability of every family member or non viability. I would go through my checklist and then I'd start having my list of suspects. And, you know, I would start surveilling. And I would start getting my team together because there might be people that are in other states or other countries that I would need to get information on. That's why this channel is never gonna blow up. Thank you, Rose. That means a lot to me. She said, I like how you only deal in facts. Yeah, I'm not, I could never be, JLR or anybody like that. Like, not doing this for the money, although thank you for anybody that sent a super chat or a jewel today. That'll help. I don't know how long I can sustain, going live every day and talking about the same thing over and over and over. But, yesterday was a big deal. That information that was reported, not that it's true, but it was reported. And I said that yesterday. And now Savannah made a comment today. She made a statement saying basically, no comment. Are they still looking at the family as potential suspects? I think everybody's a suspect. I don't think Nanos is. I don't think Nanos is doing anything. Oh, thank you, Mostly Dolls Helicopters. That's the second Canadian super chat of the day. I think you have the only two super chats of the day. Thank you. Much appreciated. Hubbles, they said family isn't suspects anymore. Sheriff Nano said that. The FBI didn't say that. Exactly, Jane. No speculation, only the facts. I mean, what the hell is the matter with? Hey! Yesterday, I called it the kaleidoscope eyes. It's actually kaleidoscope glasses as far as YouTube is concerned, but it just reminds me of, you know, Julian Lennon talking to Dad John about, you know, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, the girl with the kaleidoscope eyes. So that's why I always call it the kaleidoscope eyes is my favorite one. But technically, if you purchase it, it'll say kaleidoscope glasses, I think. But those are cool. You didn't get to see it yesterday. What, the video? The video's up. Same with ransom messengers, latent opportunities. Okay, Kathy, thanks for coming. You're on game with culture. Cody Phillips, welcome in. Oh, I missed this one. Hubble one. I don't see Nancy as a target, and I think the Bitcoin group is a shy-horned opportunist ploy after the fact. Maybe, maybe not, because the first ransoms that were asking for 4 million and then 6 million, they knew things about the crime scene that only people involved would know. And Savannah said, that the FBI did tell the family that they thought they were legit, the first two, but she had not seen them. The Bitcoin and ransom notes are after the fact opportunists. Maybe and maybe not. They could also be red herrings. KMG, all the big channels are reporting on this today, but didn't you report this yesterday or the day before? Well, yesterday there was the report that came out that allegedly ransom note number 2 claimed that she was accidentally unalived. Today, the big news is that Savannah went public and she would not confirm or deny. Oh, yeah. Kimberly says Tucson is building a new casino inside city limits. That's weird. Yeah, generally, they're only allowed on reservations, although some casinos are considered like card playing houses, and those have different rules. It is investigative reporter Howard Blum who is reporting about the first ransom letter giving a detailed description of the pajamas. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. Thanks for that information. Okay, it says there's 7 minutes left, but I don't know if I'm gonna go that long. Yeah, Cody, we're talking about Nancy Guthrie. We can only hope that we can put out possible avenues for federal authorities to check out, not speculative. Well, we're just doing an open discussion about, where's Nancy Guthrie? Yeah, nobody here is on this case. We're just talking about it. And everything is just personal opinion, speculative, as Nanos would say. And everybody here on my channel is innocent until proven guilty. Did Dog the Bounty Hunter ever come back to me? I don't know Dog the Bounty Hunter. I know who he is, but I don't know. No, she's not one of the missing scientists, although I do have some prior videos, Cody, about those, but none recently. We're too busy with the Nancy Guthrie case. She is the 84-year-old kidnapped mom of Today Show co-host Nancy or Savannah Guthrie. Has Savannah Guthrie received all info and evidence results from her mother's case? I highly doubt that because it's an active, open investigation, and they can't eliminate anybody. No, I doubt it. Okay, thank you for coming, Kelsers. Nice to see you again. Dog the Bounty Hunter has never contacted me. We have a bounty hunter from Boston, Boston Bill, that comes in here, and I just know him in chat. I don't know him outside of the chat. The other day in the comments, somebody, a new subscriber apparently, asked me if my mother had been found yet, or they hope that my mom is found. Well, Nancy Guthrie is not my mother. Although it would be nice if I was related to her. Oh, I hear a cat, and it's not mine. I hear a cat like screaming. Maybe it's my neighbor's kitten. It's very talkative. Yeah, I don't know Dog the Bounty Hunter, but we did a video about somebody that he was looking for. No, definitely not a cat fight. Cats outside in Los Angeles don't survive very long because of the coyotes. Yeah, true, Jay. Dog was mentioned about a month ago, and that's as far as it went. Yeah. Hey, Christy or Kirsty. Why do I always do that? Like I said, I'm becoming dyslexic or something. I never was before. Well, I like all animal stacks. All animals. Yeah, so basically, Savannah made a public statement today. I've already played it twice. If you missed it, go back, watch the video again. When it ends, you can watch the replay, and it'll take a day or two for the chat to load. Of course, on the other video, the one that was Sunday that, 20,000 people watched, that's the video that has the problems. And I have to wait at least one more day before I can contact YouTube again to say, okay, I still can't see it and it still hasn't processed. And what are you going to do about it? It's just very deflating this week. Like I do all this work and I finally get a good audience, and then, YouTube, you blow it. I still hear it. It's like, meow. And it's not the screaming cat from next door, because I did confirm that the screaming cat from next door did take that final ride to the vet one way. Oh, it's not Christmas time yet, Frosty. This is super frustrating. This case and YouTube's glitches this week, and it all happened at once. Like, I got billed for stickers that I never ordered from a company twice for almost $100. One of my own PI vendors that I use their databases double billed me, and they don't know why or how. One of my super chats disappeared. Um, like my most watched live, not my most watched video, but my most watched live. Um, YouTube is not processing it, and I can't see it on the back end. I mean, it's just like one of my videos cut out last week, and I didn't even know. I'm talking to the air. Like, it's just getting frustrating. KMG says it makes no sense to me that they cannot locate the person who sent the message that Nancy was accidentally gone. And we don't even know if there was a message of that because Savannah's not confirming or denying it. Oh, thank you, Jay. I don't know how that slips in. Either the Tiffany lamp or the or Tiffany style lamp, uh, or little Kelsa who's up on the shelf. Not Kelsa the kitty, but the real Kelsa who's no longer with us. Sometimes she'll make an appearance in the background. Like, whoa, how did we do that? Just all the medical BS. That's the story of my life. But I love coming into YouTube and meeting with you guys. It's a nice distraction. Thank you for the sunshine. Uh, TMZ and the third set of ransoms had a message that time is no longer of the essence, but TMZ never talked about everything that was in the first two letters, and they never mentioned that she had died. And we still don't know if that's even true, and we don't know how mainstream media ran with that yesterday. Remember, nothing was confirmed. Just because it's in the news, even on a mainstream, even on CNN, it doesn't make it true. And Savannah's not confirming or denying. But while she's, making a public statement today in front of millions of viewers, she and Jenna and Carson Daly are wearing all black, like they're dressed up to go to a funeral. So we only know what we know. And it says my goal has ended. So I guess my time here is done. Thank you. Mostly Bell's helicopters. You've been coming through today. Thank you, Holly. Okay, I'll catch everybody the next time I come live. I do charge the mics right away just in case, like there's like a breaking story and I have to come back on. But usually that doesn't happen. But thanks for coming in, everybody. See ya.